I'm going to be brief here because we have a lot to cover and I want to jump right in. This is the second part of my year-end review of Pantheon Rise of the Fallen and the events that happened over 2021, and it's a doozy. Quarter 3. July opened the gates. Chi gates. Man, that was lame. I feel like I should apologize, but I won't. Because I own my stupid puns, for better or worse, probably worse. The dev stream for July and the beginning of Q3 was all about the monk. Now, the class reveals have historically received mixed receptions from the community. I think those who are interested in the classes are ecstatic, and those who aren't lament another month without proper gameplay or more reveals. Monk is probably my second most anticipated class behind Necro, so I loved the stream personally. But it wasn't just that it was the class, it was the presentation. It felt more professional, more ready, more accessible. It provided us with some of the coolest footage of the in-progress work on animations and graphics we've seen. This video was a step up in my opinion from the previous class videos like the Shaman. MMOgames.com followed up their great post with Nathan Napalm with an interview with the man himself, Joppa. Now the interview is very interesting and I recommend taking a read, but there's one question I wanted to address and read to you all specifically because I think it's one of those questions that lingers around any crowdfunding game, and I really appreciate Joppa's answer. In short, the question is asking about crowdfunded MMOs failing to deliver and what makes Pantheon different. First, I've been blessed to become good friends with a few veterans in the industry, and I've learned from them that many more games than we realize are started and fail before we ever hear about them. That has always been true and continues to be true. The interesting thing about crowdfunding is that it makes that start and fail process much more public and much more dramatic. Instead of developing quietly behind closed doors, projects do everything they can to grab your attention super early. However, for these failed projects, the public ends up getting front row seats to not only the moments the doors close, but the process leading up to that point. Pantheon has weathered its various storms very publicly, as have all the crowdfunding projects out there. We've made mistakes, we've had to significantly recalibrate a few times, and our team still has growing to do in some key areas to reach our desired development velocity. But we're still standing, and we're still pushing, and we're still going strong. The drama surrounding the crowdfunded projects is very real, but I encourage you to peer through the drama and see that we are stable and fully leaning forward into our alpha milestone. Second, it comes down to what my dad would always say when I was growing up. Don't tell me, son, show me. I didn't realize how much that refrain would stick with me into adulthood, but it has marked me deeply and even made its way into my own parenting. The reality is, our measurable, demonstrable development progress will either quell concerns and increase confidence or not. But at the end of the day, nothing I say will do an ounce of good compared to what we are able to show. I'm encouraged to see so many in our community and beyond point to the last few months' streams and acknowledge that we are showing, not just telling. As we keep our sights and efforts focused on that alpha milestone and showing off our progress along the way, I'm confident that the reality of the significance of Pantheon will take root. Now, as an author, I'm well aware of the importance of showing and not telling. And I think that Joppa is onto something here with the cadence picking up and the big, huge reveals that we got specifically really in quarter 4 about Pantheon Rise of the Fallen, and why, again, I'm so excited for what's to come with this game, especially in 2022. I believe it was in August where we saw a shift in communication, and it was one I couldn't be more pleased with. This began regular updates on what was to come for the months ahead. This felt more professional, more planned, and exciting. Naturally, it opened up with yet another great stream from the man himself, Cohhcarnage, the second of the year, as well as a pre-alpha test. We also got updates on the 20-point road to alpha list, which had now expanded to 21 points, and each point had a status such as in progress, to do, design complete, complete. This kind of transparency was music to my ears and art to my eyes. Q3 to me was characterized by confidence building and transparency. If I hadn't already pledged to Pantheon years ago, the increased transparency would have likely pushed me over the edge. August saw Minus move from his dedicated position at Pantheon Plus, a wealth of Pantheon content for years, to an official capacity with Pantheon as an associate content creator. Quick note on Pantheon Plus here, they are a wonderful source of information for Pantheon and a really a community building force within the Pantheon Rise of the Fallen community that's kind of grown year over year. You can catch them every week here on YouTube and on podcasts. Now, Minus was credited in the August newsletter with helping to devise a regular and exciting content schedule, including both the co-stream and the Monk Spotlight video. Those of us who had been fans of Pantheon Plus for years weren't surprised by the immediate positive impact, but I'm happy to see such a dedicated individual making such great official Pantheon content. August newsletter expanded to include the producer's letter, a monthly recap, some exciting lore, and a community section. September saw the expansion of the roadmap to alpha with a legend and official status: to do, design complete, in progress, and complete. Transparency here on where each part in the road to alpha is really expanded on the previous iterations. The VIP roundtable was made available both on YouTube and now in podcast format. I can't say for certain, but this feels like it has the Minus touch all over it, as Pantheon Plus was and is available in multiple formats like this. Making those updates available in as many formats as possible seems well worth the effort to get the word out for the game. For brevity, I kind of have to skip past the Wild's End video here. I recommend that video from Pantheon because it really explains some of the creation of zones in Pantheon, gives a sense of scale. I've linked it below if you want to take a look. If Q3 was packed with content, Q4 was waiting in the wings with the mic ready to drop. This started with the massive HDPR pipeline dev update in October 1, which was only part 1. Let's start with their own words. What it is: conversion of our existing project to a new rendering pipeline to allow for higher definition graphics, more powerful rendering tools, and improved client performance. This was one of the biggest reveals of the year, if not the biggest. Not just due to the demonstrated speed they were able to show with zone creation, but a few major changes that were explained. The one that made the most waves was Pantheon Rise of the Fallen is open world. Now, one of the big concerns here was leashing of NPCs, which the Pantheon devs addressed in the October newsletter, stating, "To these concerns, we want to say, rest assured, you can expect the same quality of design and creativity when it comes to the way NPCs pursue players as you've come to expect from our other game systems. By leveraging our disposition and trait system, we can conceive of all manner of NPCs with special behaviors, resistances, counters, and abilities to make getting away from them as easy or challenging as we like. As with all our NPCs, we can expect a wide variety of skill and flavor when it comes to how a specific NPC type will pursue a player. And in some cases, this may even mean a longer chase than zoning would have allowed for." So the other side of the coin is this: we are committed to creating an immersive exploration. To that end, giving players the chance to get away from enemies is exactly the kind of thing that encourages risk-taking and brings adventures to life. And that is what Pantheon is all about. The HDPR dominated the Pantheon news cycle, with the open world news even swallowing up the announcement of a Refer a Friend program and combat system improvements. However, the same combat system improvements got front billing in the next newsletter, sparking an MMORPG.com article that was covered on this channel and Basgrim's for its somewhat alarmist title. Since that's already been covered, I'll move on, but if you haven't seen the video, I've linked it below and in the card, as well as Basgrim's. More importantly, Q4 also saw the launch of Parting the Veil, hosted by Minus, a podcast. The first episode tackled the idea that Pantheon was a niche game, trying to dispel that idea. A special AMA dev session continued the theme of transparency that has been throughout the entire second half of the year with Pantheon, and it's something I hope they'll do again in 2022. December was a whopper with the Forging Terminus developer livestream starting right off with the current state of the game in Unity HD with the HDPR conversion, and holy crap, the visuals are just insane. The visuals looked fine before, if a bit shiny, but what was shown off with the conversion is just so much better than it was before. Joppa stated this is a holistic, worldwide improvement. Beyond that, we saw a new dungeon reveal, weapon designs, and got to hear Joppa try to cover what this year meant and the outlook for 2022. I want to leave you with those words from Joppa because I think it encapsulates exactly how I've felt as an outsider. It covers how I feel about Pantheon and why I believe in this project so much, and I have for years. So here, I'll say goodbye and leave you with Joppa's words on the year that was and the year to come. Thank you so much for watching.
I mean, the banner I would put over 2021 absolutely is, weathering that storm of getting the project into this HDRP state and, getting everything ingested into that. What I'm excited about is 2022. And I mean, I am very excited about it. And the word that I would put on it, kind of the banner word I would put over 2022 as I thought about it, is imminence. We've been in development for a long time. So long, in fact, that the strides we're actually making right now are hard to really feel. It's hard to feel them, how significant they are, because we've been at this a long time. It is very clear if you're looking closely and you're looking deeply enough, it's clear to see, but I don't expect most people to do that. I mean, we all have lives that we're living. Life is hard, and we're not in this to like study the fine grain ins and outs of, the development cycle. We just want to know, like, is it happening? When's it happening? What's going on? So I get it. But the corners that we're about to turn, the jumps that we're about to make moving into 22, as we draw closer to alpha, as we burn through more and more of that checklist, and those things are demonstrable and able to be experienced by our testers, able to be showcased in our streams, I firmly believe that 2022 will be a year of Pantheon's ever-increasing eminence, that to solidify that this game's coming, and when it gets here, it's going to be an incredible experience. So that's what I'm anticipating. Obviously I have alpha in mind when I say that, because that's really the next milestone of all milestones. That's what we're all looking for and waiting for and hoping for. And this year has been about getting us, fully positioned and oriented to sprint towards that goal. And our hope is that everything we show will be further proof and building confidence that we are absolutely heading in that direction. And I think it's just going to reach a tipping point soon where it's so much more clear that that's happening than not.